The camera closes in on Ethan, hunched over on a cracked, graffiti-stained sidewalk. In his trembling hand, a crumpled $5 bill flutters like fragile hope. Around him, the city roars, horns blaring, footsteps echoing, neon lights painting him. In fleeting shadows, hunger twists his stomach, cold seeps into his bones, and every dream he's chased feels just out of reach. He glances up, eyes hollow but searching, when a figure approaches and a woman carrying a simple brown paper bag. Her gaze meets his, steady, compassionate. Without a word, she hands him a warm meal. Steam curls into the chilly air, and for a fleeting moment, the storm outside quiets. Something shifts in Ethan's chest. A spark flickers where despair had lived. He realizes, sometimes survival isn't about money. It's about the unexpected kindness that changes the trajectory of a life forever. The screen shifts to a dimly lit apartment, peeling paint on the walls and a single flickering bulb overhead. Ethan sits at a rickety table, papers scattered around him, overdue bills, rejection letters, scribbled business ideas that feel more like whispers than plans. His hands tremble slightly, a mix of exhaustion and restless energy. Every glance toward the door carries the weight of being unseen, overlooked by a world too busy to notice dreams that don't yet shine. Through the cracked window, the city hums, a reminder of opportunities just beyond reach. Then, a knock. Anna steps in, calm but sharp, her presence cutting through the oppressive gloom. She surveys the chaos of Ethan's life with a steady gaze, offering small, deliberate gestures, a smile, a nod, a challenge wrapped in kindness. Though fleeting, her influence lingers, planting seeds of hope in the fertile soil of his ambition. Ethan crouches near a bustling street vendor, eyes fixed on the rhythm of transactions, scribbling ideas onto a crumpled napkin. Coins clink, smoke drifts from sizzling food, and the city hums around him. Alive, chaotic, and indifferent. He's invisible to the world, but not to Anna. She leans casually against a lamppost, watching him with quiet curiosity. Finally, she steps closer, offering advice in a voice both firm and gentle. "You're thinking too small," she says, a teasing edge beneath her words. Ethan flinches, pride prickling, but something in her tone stirs determination instead of shame. Their conversation is brief, a few minutes of laughter, a few cutting truths and subtle challenges that push him to think bigger. As Anna walks away, her presence lingers in the air like a whisper, hope, provocation, and the promise that he is not alone in his struggle. Ethan stands nervously in crowded cafes, offices and living rooms, pitching his fledgling ideas. Faces blur into a sea of polite nods that quickly turn into laughter, raised eyebrows and dismissive smirks. Even his own family shakes their heads, whispering that he's chasing impossible dreams. Each rejection lands like a heavy stone on his chest, but he refuses to crumble. From the sidelines, Anna watches, her eyes flickering between frustration and fierce belief. She grabs his arm once, shaking him gently. "Stop letting them define your worth," she urges, her voice carrying both tenderness and fire. Her insistence cuts through his doubt, forcing him to see opportunity where others only see failure. Ethan walks away from another closed door, chest tight, but spirit unbroken. Every sneer and ridicule sharpens his hunger, transforming despair into determination. He is learning that the world's mockery can be fuel, if only he dares to burn brighter. The apartment is silent, except for the ticking of an old clock. Ethan sits on the edge of a worn mattress, staring at a nearly empty fridge, counting coins that barely cover a single meal. Cold gnaws at his bones, exhaustion pressing heavy, and the city outside hums indifferently, unaware of the quiet battle. Inside these walls, Anna kneels beside him, carefully stacking the coins and setting them into neat piles. "You can make this stretch further," she says, her voice firm yet warm. "You're stronger than this. Don't let hunger define you." Her words pierce his doubt, and for the first time, he sees possibility in the chaos. In the nights they share, a bond grows, forged in survival, trust and stubborn determination. Quiet laughter, Whispered plans and gentle pushes build something unshakable, a connection that will carry them toward the impossible. Steam rises from coffee machines, mingling with the hum of chatter and clattering dishes at the small cafe. Ethan wipes a counter, distracted, when fragments of a conversation catch his ear. A business owner lamenting a market gap, something no one dares to fill. His pen twitches in his pocket. Ideas, long buried under bills and exhaustion, stir, awake. Anna watches from the doorway, her eyes sharp, noticing the first flicker of something dangerous and beautiful. Hope. She steps closer, her voice low but insistent. You hear that? That's your chance. Don't let it slip. Her nudge isn't just encouragement, it's a challenge, a test of courage. Ethan's mind races. Every detail, every flaw in the market begins to form a blueprint. He pictures the potential, the impact, the empire he could build from nothing. Heart pounding, he grabs his napkin and pen, sketches feverishly, each line fueled by hunger, fear, and the relentless drive to rise. In that chaotic cafe, the first spark of his future dynasty ignites, and Anna's presence ensures it won't be extinguished. Ethan pushes open the door to a cramped, dimly lit workspace, the air thick with dust and the scent of worn wood. Boxes of borrowed equipment are stacked haphazardly, wires tangled, and the hum of a single lamp casts long shadows. Sleep is a stranger. Exhaustion presses on him like a second skin. Every idea carries risk. Every decision could crumble their fragile hope. Anna moves beside him, steady and focused. She organizes receipts, scribbles budgets, and quietly asks the questions he avoids. Are you sure this will work? What if it doesn't? Her voice is both anchor and spark, grounding his fears while pushing him forward. The first prototype emerges from chaos, crooked, flawed, imperfect. It fails spectacularly, spilling coffee and sparks of panic across the tiny workspace. Yet in the midst of the disaster they laugh. Shared frustration becomes fuel, and determination hardens like steel. Every misstep, every sleepless night, every borrowed tool is proof. They are building something real, and their bond, unshakable, unspoken, will carry them through the unknown. Dim lights flicker over their tiny workspace, stacks of papers, and scattered coffee cups surrounding them like loyal witnesses. Ethan refreshes his phone for the 10th time that morning. Another small sale, another quiet victory. His chest tightens with relief and disbelief. It's not much, just a handful of units. But to him it feels monumental, like the first step up a mountain whose peak he can almost see. Anna leans over, eyes sparkling. She punches the air, laughing softly. Yes, that's ours. Her joy isn't just support. It's a shared heartbeat, proof that every sacrifice, every sleepless night is meaningful. Together, they hunch over scribbled notes, plotting their next move. Coffee cools beside them, forgotten. They debate, brainstorm, and imagine with stubborn belief, turning each minor success into fuel for the next. Outside, the city pulses, indifferent, but inside, momentum grows. Each small win stacks on the last, building a quiet but unstoppable wave. For the first time, Ethan feels that hope isn't fragile, it's real, and with Anna by his side, anything feels possible. Ethan scrolls through messages from missed dinners and unanswered calls, the faces of friends and family fading into blurry reminders of what he has traded. His eyes are heavy, muscles sore, and the clock on the wall mocks the hours he's surrendered to work. Every day is a balancing act between survival and ambition, and his body protests with quiet insistence. Anna watches him carefully, her expression a mixture of concern and resolve. One evening she stops him mid-scribble, gently placing a hand on his shoulder. Success isn't free, she says softly, but with unmistakable weight. Every choice comes at a cost. Don't forget who you are while building who you want to be. Their debates are fierce but tender. Ideas clash, priorities wrestle, and vision is honed like a blade. Through laughter, frustration, and whispered encouragements in dimly lit rooms, Ethan begins to refine not just his business but himself. Each sacrifice, each sleepless night becomes a stepping stone, and with Anna's unwavering presence, he learns that growth demands both pain and courage. The office is silent, suffocating. Every ticking second, a reminder of what's lost. Ethan's phone buzzes relentlessly. Frantic messages from investors, missed calls and emails exposing the vanished profits. A trusted partner has disappeared, taking early funds and leaving gaps in contracts, unfulfilled orders, and mounting debts. Panic coils in his chest, his hands shake and the walls seem to close in. Anna steps forward, placing a steadying hand on his shoulder. Her eyes lock onto his, unflinching. "This isn't the end," she says, voice firm yet warm. "We rebuild. Together." She scans the chaos, organizes notes, and quietly begins outlining recovery steps, a lifeline in the storm. Ethan leans back, chest tight, swallowed by fear and disbelief. Yet Anna's unwavering presence pulls him forward. In this moment of betrayal, failure looms large, but so does resolve. Some battles, he realizes, reveal who truly stands beside you, and Anna will not let him face this alone. Ethan sits slumped on the edge of a threadbare couch, the apartment cold and silent. Walls once familiar, now echo with failure, each shadow a reminder of dreams deferred and trust shattered. He stares at a crumpled $5 bill on the table, the last remnant of a life slipping through his fingers. Every plan feels like a cruel joke, every breath a reminder of how fragile hope can be. The door opens quietly, and Anna steps in, her presence calm but unyielding. She kneels beside him, placing a hand over his, steadying him without words. "Do you remember why you started?" she asks softly. Ethan lifts his gaze, meeting hers, and in her eyes he sees the spark that first ignited his ambition, the belief that refused to die even when the world turned away. Together, they spread papers across the cold floor, sketching strategies, weighing risks, daring to imagine again. Betrayal has bruised them, hunger drives them, and unbroken faith fuels their resolve. In the dim light, laughter mixes with determination, and Ethan realizes rock bottom isn't the end. It's the forge where comebacks are born, and their empire will rise from these ashes. The city skyline glows as dawn breaks, casting golden light across Ethan's small but bustling office. Papers, laptops, and prototypes now tell a different story, one of relentless effort, lessons learned, and calculated risk. Ethan paces, energized, unafraid. The failed launch, betrayal, and sleepless nights have sharpened him. Every misstep has become strategy, every setback a lesson. Anna stands beside him, reviewing numbers, offering insight, her presence steady and unwavering. Investors begin to notice. Calls come in, meetings are scheduled, recognition spreads quietly, but decisively. Each small sale, each nod of approval feels monumental, a testament to persistence, to endurance, and to the belief that refusing to quit can alter destiny. Ethan pauses by the window, watching the city pulse below. Memories of 5 bills and cold apartments flood him, but now they feel distant, almost unreal. Anna places a hand on his shoulder. "Look how far we've come," she says. He smiles, a mixture of relief, pride, and gratitude. Together they built more than a business. They forged a legacy. And in that moment, Ethan understands. Some alliances don't just help you survive, they define who you become. Ethan pushes open the glass doors of his new office, sunlight spilling across polished floors and sleek furniture. The skyline stretches, endlessly before him, a city he once only dreamed of reaching. He steps forward, pausing to absorb the view, chest swelling with a mixture of awe, relief, and hard-earned pride. Each skyscraper seems to echo his journey, the sleepless nights, the betrayals, the tiny victories that stacked into something monumental. A small table near the window holds a simple framed photo of Anna, the woman whose kindness changed everything. Ethan's fingers brush the glass as he remembers the $5 bill that once seemed like the entirety of his world, the meals shared in cold apartments, and the relentless encouragement that kept him moving when the world turned away. Gratitude fills him, deep and quiet. He turns to Anna, who stands nearby, smiling, steady and unwavering. "We did it," he says softly. She nods, pride in her eyes mirroring his own. Ethan's gaze drifts back to the city, recognizing not just the empire he built, but the people, risks, and sacrifices that shaped him. From $5 to $1 billion empire, the journey is etched in his eyes: humility, resilience, and unshakable respect. In this moment, success isn't measured in dollars, but in the lives, trust, and hope that fueled it all. Ethan steps forward, the city skyline framing him through floor-to-ceiling windows. His posture is calm, yet there's a quiet intensity. In his eyes, the weight of every struggle, every sleepless night, every betrayal, and every small triumph reflected in their depths. He turns slowly to the camera, voice steady, resonant. Sometimes, he begins, all it takes is one person believing in you. One act of kindness can ignite a dynasty. His words carry the gravity of lived experience, the truth of a life that rose from $5 in his pocket to $1 billion empire. Silence hangs for a heartbeat, letting the message sink in before he continues. The camera pans slightly, capturing Anna standing nearby, a subtle nod of acknowledgement passing between them. She was the spark in his darkest hours, the quiet force that refused to let him give up. Ethan's gaze returns to the lens, challenging the audience with an unspoken question: who will you be for someone today? The screen slowly fades, leaving only his eyes, filled with hope and determination. Subscribe, his voice gently urges, to witness more stories where struggle turns into triumph, where kindness becomes power, and where the impossible is made possible.